What's up, guys? Got another UFC video here today. It's gonna be on the UFC 199 fight card, ROCKHOLD versus BISPING 2, and I'll be talking about the Fox Sports 1 prelims. I've already done a video on the Fight Pass prelims, and you guys could check that out on my video section. Anyways, this is gonna be a prediction video slash pick slash some analysis on the fights. So let's go ahead and get started. First fight of the night, or not first fight of the night, but first fight on the Fox Sports 1 prelims. We got Cole Miller against Alex Caceres. So both these guys good on the ground. Both these guys big and long for the weight class. You know, good reach. The reach is not even that far apart, only 1 inch. Cole Miller's 3 inches taller, but only 1 inch more in reach. And yeah, these guys are pretty big featherweights. Caceres, a former 135er. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the fight. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up these guys' UFC page, UFC profiles. Give you guys some info on them real quick. So Cole Miller, good submissions, extremely calm, good hands. So his last fight went to a no contest. It was a fight against Jim Ellers, a guy I'm not really too familiar with. Anyways, he was looking good in that fight. Had some good striking. Yeah, he had 3 strikes more than the other guy. Anyways, you know, he was looking good, but you know, he ended up getting eye poked, and you know, obviously cannot continue, so it's no contest. Before that, he had a loss to Max Holloway, but I mean, Holloway is a really well-rounded fighter, excellent striker, and you know, it's kind of hard to beat Holloway right now at the moment. And then before that, he had 2 wins, 2 or 3 wins in a row, 2 wins in a row, one by submission against Sam Cecilia, and then a win against Andy Ogle. Now let's go ahead and check out Alex's page. Unorthodox, resilient, and unpredictable. Also, he's a little bit younger than Cole Miller. Anyways, his last fight, as you can see, this guy was on an ugly losing streak here. 3-fight losing streak. He got finished in 2 of those fights. And yeah, that was pretty ugly right there. Anyways, he's coming off a win now. He has a win now against Masio Fulin, not really a high-level fighter. He landed lots of strikes in that fight, 74 strikes. Also was able to land a takedown. And Masio is just really known more as a striker. Here's his page, as you guys can see. Yeah, as you can see, pretty much just boxing. I remember actually picking this guy against Caceres, mostly because I thought maybe he would be able to land a good punch on him or something like that. But Masio was really inactive in that fight. Looked scared the whole time and whatnot. So let's see. I'm gonna try to make this short, guys. I don't want to make this a super long video for you guys. So yeah, just based on the stats here, you can see Alex has a little bit more significant strikes, a lot more accurate, absorbs less damage. Defense is very similar though, almost exactly the same. Grappling, both of them don't really go for takedowns very often, but when they do, Alex here has the better takedown accuracy, which means he gets the takedowns much easier than Cole does. Takedown defense goes for Caceres, almost 10% higher, and submission average goes to Cole Miller. This guy's really good on the ground, but so is Caceres here. Both these guys good on the ground. It's going to be about the striking on this fight, guys. This is what I think. So I think the fight's going to stay on the feet. I mean, both these guys, like I said, both of them don't really have, you know, really good takedowns. But I mean, based on stats here alone, I would have to say Caceres has the takedown advantage. And I mean, let's go ahead and look at their last fights to see if they even land any takedowns. So against Holloway, Miller did not land a takedown. Against Cecilia, he didn't get a takedown. Against Andy Ogle, he got taken down. He didn't get no takedowns. So I'm seeing a pattern here. This guy does not really get any takedowns in his fights. Caceres, his last fight, he gets a takedown. Rivera fight, no takedowns. Against Masanori, no takedowns. Faber, no takedowns. You know what? So both of them are just very similar, but you know, Alex here is just a little bit more active with the takedowns. So I mean, since both of them are really good on the ground, I really doubt they will take it to the ground. But like I said, I'll have to give the edge on the ground. Like for getting the takedowns, I'm gonna have to give the edge to Caceres. But I'd say the better jiu-jitsu fighter or, you know, submission specialist here would be Cole Miller. So like I said, I don't think the fight's gonna go to the ground. I think it's gonna stay standing, and I just think Cole Miller's striking just a little bit better. He has a better boxing for sure. I give the kick advantage to Caceres. So it's going to be hands against kicks here pretty much. Caceres is a little bit flashy. You know, Miller more just, you know, normal type of stand-up. Nothing too fancy, just gets the job done. But yeah, I don't see a finish coming in this fight unless it goes to the ground. And if it goes to the ground, I give the advantage to Miller here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Miller here, guys. I think his boxing is going to be a little bit better. And yeah, I think he's going to get this done by decision or maybe a late finish. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, I'm just going to go ahead and say my official pick is going to be Cole Miller here by decision. All right, next fight, Jessica Penne against Jessica Andrade. So these girls are here are fighting at 115. Jessica's still coming off that loss against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and Andrade's coming off a loss to Raquel Pennington, and she's been at 135 I think her whole career at UFC. Now she's at 115. She's going to be looking a lot leaner than she does in this picture. This is a 135 picture. I want to see that before and after difference. I wonder if she's still going to be as strong and whatnot. But anyways, I'm opening up Jessica's page here so you guys can see some info about her. So, good record there. And for the age, yeah, Andrade's a lot younger. God damn, she's actually pretty damn young, only 24 years old, and she has lots of fights in the UFC already, as you guys can see there. Tons of fights. Anyways, so summary, submissions, composure, and well-rounded. So obviously she lost her last fight by knockout, round 3. She guys got pretty much destroyed on the feet. She couldn't get a takedown. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is just really good, on the feet, and she has excellent takedown defense. So yeah, she got battered in that fight, pretty much as expected. I don't think lots of people even gave Penne a chance here. But before that, she did have a win against Randa Marcos, who's a skilled grappler, and she was able to win by a split decision. She actually had some takedowns in that fight and some pass attempts. Before that, well, those other ones are Invicta fights, so I'm not gonna really look at those. So she does have a good, a split decision, not really a good win, but she does have a split decision win over Randa Marcos, who's a good fighter at 115, top 10. And now we look at Andrade here. So obviously she's fought at 135 pretty much her whole career. Now she's dropping to 115. Now 135, she was very small. I mean, look at 5'3" is her height, and look at that reach, only 62 inches. So everybody that she was fighting was pretty much a lot bigger than her. Like they were a lot longer and whatnot. But Andrade here, what she lacked in the height and the reach, she gained with the strength. She has, as you can see right there in that picture, she looks damn strong. She was a strong girl, as you guys can see. Look at that, she's ripped, big old arms and whatnot. So she was just like short and stocky, and with the strength, she was able to really get lots of takedowns on lots of her opponents. If we look at her stats here, her takedown average is almost 3, and very high takedown accuracy there. Her last fight, she had 4 takedowns. The fight before that, she won against Sarah Mora. She had 3 takedowns. And yeah, I just see a pattern here where almost every single time she lands a takedown in each fight. Now, I don't know if she's going to want to take it to the ground against Jessica Penne because she is good on the ground, good submissions. And she's also long, which would also help with submissions. But I think Andrade here is skilled enough on the ground to avoid getting caught with a submission. She's only got tapped out twice from what I'm looking at here. One of them was to Marianne Renault, who's a really good jiu-jitsu fighter. I think she's brown belt, or maybe even, I think she's brown belt. Maybe even could be black belt, but, I don't know about that, but I think she's for sure brown belt. Anyway, Marianne Renault, good jiu-jitsu. And she did get tapped out against Raquel Pennington, but, Pennington just kind of gets those chokes in and whatnot. So, yeah. Anyways, back to what I was kind of talking about here. On the ground, I think Andrade here could control Penne. I think even though she's not at 115, she's not going to be as huge as she was at 135. I think she would probably still have the strength advantage here. She's still going to be shorter than Penne. Penny's not exactly like a muscular fighter. She's long and skinny and whatnot. Penne is going to have a 5-inch reach advantage, so it's kind of like nothing really changed for Andrade here on this fight coming to 115, because she's fighting a big 115 pounder here, because she's long and whatnot. It's kind of similar to Andrade fighting those bantamweights that were all bigger and longer than her. But as you can see there, based on the stats here, Penne doesn't really have good takedown defense. She does have some wrestling also of her own, but Andrade here, I know she's going to be the stronger fighter. And yeah, I could really just see her taking down Penne, controlling her on the ground, landing some ground pound. And if it stays on the feet, her significant strikes line per minute is pretty damn high there, guys. If you guys see those numbers. I mean, just look at those numbers there. She almost has 6 strikes landed per minute compared to Penne here. So almost 3 times her output. 3 times her output. Way more accurate. Does absorb more damage, but her defense is slightly better. And you know, I don't really see a knockout coming in this fight. But if I would see a knockout here, it's gonna come by you know, it's gonna come from Andrade here. Andrade looks like she has a lot more power than Penne. And at 135, you know, it looked like she packed a punch and whatnot. You know. I don't think she has any. Yeah, she doesn't have any TKO wins here in the UFC, but I'm pretty sure she does have some TKO wins. Yeah, she has some right there in her long career record. But yeah, anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and just pick Andrade here. I think Penne is gonna be the favorite. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, Penne's the favorite. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, I want to go for Andrade here. But, you know, I don't really know how good she's going to look at 115. You know, she might be a lot weaker. And, you know, maybe she won't even be able to get any takedowns. But for sure, I think she's going to have better cardio. You know, being more like at her natural way instead of being like a bulky 135er. But, yeah, I just really think Andrade could get this done, guys. With her takedown game. And like I said, her striking game also isn't too bad either. She has good kicks. Her boxing is not too good. But she does have some good kicks. She's good in the clinch, you know, holds you, does some knees against the cage. But so is Penne here, though. So, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and just say Andrade is going to get this win. And yeah, I think Andrade is going to win by decision, guys. I think, like I said, her striking output and her takedowns is going to be the difference in this fight. And yeah, I mean, Penne does have some good striking of her own, but I just kind of see Andrade throwing too much volume, landing takedowns, and getting a decision win here. So Andrade by decision, guys. Alright, so the next fight, we got Dariush against James Vick. So Dariush just fought very recently, and so did Vick. I'm not sure if they fought in the same card or not, but, you know, both of them fought very recent. I'm opening up their pages right now. Dariush is coming off a loss, and Vick's coming off a win. Obviously, he's still undefeated. Summary, intelligence, and speed. So I picked Dariush in the last fight, and his last fight was against Michael Chiesa. So pretty much Dariush is doing really good in the fight, but he just happened to, you know, get caught by Chiesa. I mean, this guy's a high level black belt, you know, in jiu-jitsu. He's a really good grappler, and yeah, he still got caught by Chiesa. So that just shows Chiesa having all that length and having just really good chokes and whatnot. That guy can tap out anybody. Now, do I think Dariush is gonna get tapped out by Vick, who's also has some good chokes, you know, some good submissions? I don't think so. I think Chiesa is just a better, you know, submission fighter compared to Vick. So I don't see that happening to Dariush in this fight. But I think Dariush shouldn't underestimate anybody with their submissions, with the submission skills, pretty much. Because he pretty much, you know, he thought he was a lot better with the submission game against Chiesa, and he ended up getting caught. But guys, he was winning the fight. He had a lot more strikes landed. Takedowns were equal. It's just he just happened to get caught in that fight. So he made a mistake there, you know, underestimating Chiesa's chokes. That wasn't really defending the choke, I think, from what I remember. Anyways, here's Vick's page. Summary, mental toughness, cardio, boxing skills. So this guy is very long, you know, tall for the weight class, 6'3", has some good boxing. As you can see in his last fight, he has a shit ton of strikes against Glaico Franca. So Glaico Franca has some good takedowns, and he was able to get Vick down plenty of times. So that's something that kind of worries me here against Dariush, because Dariush isn't really known for having super good takedowns, but, you know, if he wants a takedown, I think he's going to be able to get it, especially against Vick, who's shown his takedown defense is not too good against Franca. But Franca is a lot stronger, I think, than Dariush. He looks like a big lightweight, so I mean that could be a difference there. But anyways, guys, even on the feet, Dariush is pretty good. I mean, he has a black belt in multi, you know, from Rafael Cordero over there, you know, Kings of MMA and whatnot. So he has good striking, good multi skills, you know, hard leg kicks and whatnot, good body kicks. So his hands are not as good as Vick's, and, you know, Vick could keep this at range, you know, at distance, and use his boxing skills, you know, use the jab, try to just pick Dariush apart. But I think Dariush is going to come in a little bit more aggressive in this fight, since, you know, he is coming off a loss. He wants to get this win. If he loses against James Vick, it's really going to drop Dariush's value here. You know, he's going to drop out of the top 10. So I think there's too much on the line here for Dariush, for him to just try to take this, you know, like a like an easy fight, to try to like cruise through the fight. I think he has to be aggressive with his multi-striking, and if he wants to get a takedown, he has to be aggressive with his takedowns and get Vick to the ground and use that good ground game that he has. But Vick here, obviously has a path to victory here. Keep Dariush off him. Use the range, the distance, and whatnot. Use his boxing skills. He's an undefeated fighter for a reason. As you guys can see in the UFC, he has 5 fights in the UFC. He has 2 finishes in the first round by submission, but the rest are by decision. So he doesn't have too much power, I guess, just based on his stats there. He doesn't have much knockouts on his record. I guess it looks like it's just 1 knockout. So I don't think Dariush has to worry about that. He just has to worry about not getting like outstruck with the volume of Vick, because he's going to be throwing a lot of punches. And if we look at the odds here, yeah, it's almost 2-1 there. Dariush against Vick. It's kind of a close fight if you think about it, but I mean Dariush has fought way better competition, and I'm just gonna have to give him the edge, guys. So I'm going with Dariush again, and hopefully does not let me down this time against Caceres. Can't believe he got caught with that choke. But anyways, guys, I'm going with Dariush, and you know what? I don't really see a finish here. I just see Dariush kind of just beating him up on the feet, or taking it to the ground, maybe working some ground game skills, some grappling, working some submissions. Yeah, and Vick looks like a tough guy, so I don't see this being a finish, especially by TKO. I think it's going to be a decision win for Dariush, or it could be maybe a submission win. But let's go ahead and just say Dariush by decision, guys. So that's my official pick. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the featured fight in the Fox Sports 1 prelims. We got Brian Ortega against Guida. So Guida, obviously a veteran. Ortega here is one of these up and comers, known for his excellent triangles off the back, off on the ground and whatnot. Obviously, great submissions. Has that great jiu-jitsu. So let's go ahead and open up the pages. Ortega undefeated. Guida is going to be his 46th fight. So shit ton of fights by Guida there. Okay, so here's Ortega's page summary. Obviously ground game and some stand-up. He's a young fighter also, 25 years old. Guida is going to be probably like 34, 35. Yep, 34. Ortega 1 inch taller, but the reach still goes to Guida. So as we can see here in the UFC, this guy's been getting finishes. In the UFC right there, he has a submission win in the 3rd round, a 3rd round knockout against Thiago Tavares, and I'm not even gonna talk about that no contest fight against Mike De La Torre. Anyways, so Ortega is coming off a win here against Diego Brandao. Pretty much he was actually losing those 2 first rounds, I would say. It looks like he was getting beat up on the feet a bit, but happened to get that 3rd round submission and was able to get it done, guys. But Brandao does have some good striking, so no shame in getting outstruck by him. Guida's not the same type of striker as Brandao is, so that's something he doesn't have to worry about. But anyways, he was able to get the win. Pretty much, if this guy's on the ground with you, if you give him a chance to wrap up a choke or something like that, pretty much you're in danger whenever you're on the ground with Brian Ortega. This guy's just excellent ground game, and Guida here is gonna want to use his wrestling. This guy's, I mean, you can see the summary there: wrestling, solid chin, whatever. This guy's, it's all about his wrestling. Always likes getting takedowns. If you guys look at his fights, he's always trying to get takedowns. Last fight he got a takedown, but he ended up getting caught in a submission against Thiago Tavares. Now Thiago Tavares is a good jiu-jitsu fighter, but not as good as Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega already beat him, as you guys can see there in that record. So I mean, he's fighting against a higher level jiu-jitsu guy, and I don't know if Guida here really wants to take it to the ground with someone so good on the ground like Ortega. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, not to make this too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Ortega here, guys. I think Guida's not gonna want to use his wrestling, but I think he's gonna have to, and when he does, I think Ortega will probably catch him with something. But even then, Ortega is the better, I would say, slightly better striker, lands a little bit more output and whatnot. And since he does have a little bit better, more striking, he's younger, he's going to be a little bit faster and whatnot, more explosive. He's not worried about getting taken down because, like I said, he has that ground game to fall back upon. So Clay Guida here, you know, maybe he could just take him down and maybe, you know, hold Ortega down, but that's going to be a challenge there. And Clay Guida has been tapped out, you know, plenty of times in his career, so I don't know if he really wants to do that against Brian Ortega. You know, maybe he's been working his striking, maybe he's just going to be pushing the pace, you know, just you know, putting the pressure on Ortega, getting aggressive, getting in his face, throwing strikes. Maybe he's going to be doing something like that. Ortega, not really known for having good takedowns, so I mean, I don't think he's going to take the fight to the ground. So I think the fight's going to stay on the feet. And, you know, Clay Guida's striking is just not too good, but neither is Ortega's, you know, but I would say Ortega is improving here. You know, he's younger. He's the one improving his striking. And, yeah, I'm just going to have to take Ortega here, guys. So I'm taking Ortega, and I think he's going to get either a decision win, or if Guida really wants to take this fight to the ground, I'm going to go ahead and just say maybe he'll get a second round submission, guys. You never know. Maybe Clay Guida goes for a takedown in the second round. Or maybe he goes for those takedowns like near the end of the round to try to get like takedown points, to try to get a decision win here. And then he gets caught with something, you know. But, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and be safe here. I say Ortega's going to win by decision. Alright, guys, so those are my picks. I got Cole Miller winning by, I think I said decision. Yeah, Cole Miller by decision. And then I got Andrade also by decision. Dariush also by decision. And Ortega also by decision. Now, obviously, there's chance of finishes here in this fight. Cole Miller, if he gets Caceres on the ground, works that ground game, he can get a finish. If Andrade lands some vicious ground and pound on Penne, she could get a finish. If Dariush works his ground game also, if he gets Vick down to the ground, works that ground game, or maybe he hurts Vick with a body kick or something like that, or maybe just chops him down with those leg kicks, which I think he really is going to do. But, you know, there's a chance for Dariush to get maybe even a TKO win in this fight, but I would lean more towards submission. And then obviously Ortega, if Clay Guida here goes for those takedowns, Ortega wraps something up, could get a submission. So I'm picking all these fights by decision as my official picks, but you never know, there could be finishing this fight, guys. So like I said, Miller decision, Andrade decision, Dariush decision, and Ortega decision. Alright, guys, so those are my picks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, if you guys haven't checked out the Fight Pass prelims, my picks on that, check out that video. It's obviously a separate video. And yeah, also if you guys want to join DraftKings, I got the link below in the description. And yeah, check that out if you guys want to possibly make some money. But alright, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and catch you guys on the next one.